Sangini is a Black and minoritized women-led organization based in the northeast of England. We've been in existence for 19 years and we use arts, crafts, and social activities to raise awareness about health and well-being issues. So when I'm talking about funding, essentially I'm focusing on grant applications. As a small organization, this can be challenging and daunting because you don't have maybe paid staff and you are essentially volunteer-led. So in that sense, these tips and suggestions, will help you, I'm hoping, to think more logically. So writing any funding bids requires some preparation in advance. So my first advice is that you spend time on finding the right funder for you. This requires a little bit of research, but it's worth it. And I found that going for small funds have particularly been useful for us. So instead of kind of tackling big applications, I find that small amount of monies and funders who give small amount of funding is very useful, simply because I find that it's easy, these applications are easy to write, and also the funders, they are much more approachable. So if you have a problem if you have a doubt, you can just pick up the phone and talk to them. Do plan your activity in advance. Give yourself enough time between the decision date and the start date of the project. Quite often, if it's too close to the decision date, and if you haven't received sufficient funding, then you may not have time to go elsewhere to make up for the shortfall or look for additional funding. You run that risk, and that also demonstrates to the funder that you haven't thought through the project, and also that you are not considering these risks. So, and that influences the decision the funder might make. Keep basic information or statistics handy. This could be information about your organization, the user groups, the number of people you've worked with over the years, local priorities. So all of these statistics, it's important that you spend a bit of time to keep all of that in one place so that you don't have to spend time looking for them every time you're writing a proposal. The grant proposal is a combination of information that a funder wants from you. So, and there are three elements in this. One is an organization. The second is the actual proposal, the project idea itself. And the third one is the budget. These are essentially the three elements, but built within this, there are many other areas, like, for example, information about your user groups, the need that, how do you know that, that your work is needed or this project is needed? How are you connected as an organization? Do you have partnerships? Are you collaborating? Are you working with other community groups? Because remember, every charity, every organization, every voluntary group, we're all trying to do one thing, is to make this a better place. You also have to think about what is it that is unique about your work or about the organization. You are essentially making a case as to why this activity is needed for the people that you're serving. But the first question you will have to think about is, how do you know that it's needed? And this is where, information such as how you talk to them, how you consult them for your activities, or any research that you've done in terms of maybe government research or local authority researches, or even charities like Mind Reports, which I've used many times. It's important to kind of think about, everybody that is supporting you in the organization, especially when you're small. You're relying a lot on voluntary support, the committee members who bring different skill base, or any, partnership organization that's kind of giving you, say, for example, marketing support. The third section that I would like to talk about is the budget, is the finance section. It's an important element, as we all know. This is where you are putting all the costs down for your activity. And again, the funder looks at the finance section not in isolation, but in relation to what you've said in the activity section or the project section, and also your organization section. Think of the project proposal idea and the budget as two sides of the coin. They should mirror each other. A lot of the times, the written project idea is fantastic, but if it is not costed properly, that can jeopardize the decision the funder is making. That can jeopardize your application. So keeping the budget realistic, keeping the budget within the capacity of the organization based on the past projects that you have delivered is important. The funders also look for manageability. Can you manage the project within the given budget and within the given timescale? And this is where it links with the information that you've given in your organization or the organization's section. Funder is able to assess that this is an organization that has the capacity to deliver this project because it has so-and-so skills on its board. The volunteer pool is equally trained or experienced in delivering this kind of activity. Member of staff have certain experiences to be able to deliver, the project. So the assessment around manageability is not taken in isolation in what you say in the activity section. They correlate, the funder correlates that information with what you've said in the organizations section. If you're able to get some free use of space or support or maybe materials, then that is important to mention in finance terms. So if the free use of venue over 7 weeks at, say £100 costs you £700, then it is important to put that in, because that's the in-kind support you are leveraging. And this shows that you have partnership support, that somebody else is believing in that project and they are committed to that project. Also check out the rates for the workers or any freelance workers that you are employing, because you want to demonstrate that you are a good employer and that you're paying people properly. The entire picture is connected. The organization, what you do, how you work with people, and why your work is important. All of that is connected with the proposal or with the kind of activity or with the project that you're proposing to do. And how you would deliver that is reflected through the numbers, through the budget, because that shows the organization's capacity to be able to deliver the project. So I'm hoping that you find all this information useful. And of course, don't forget, Any quotes or images from your past projects are always used to send, is to include. Nowadays, the digital presence has become very important. So even, a Facebook presence is still important for the funders to actually look at the kind of work that you do. So, all the best with your proposals and your funding applications.